Aho, Iaho, Aho, Iaho.
Hi, my name is Stephen Golding, President of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, Division 1 in Kingston, Jamaica. And we are adding our voice in celebration of the 150th anniversary of the Caribbean influx into Latin America in countries like Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, Colombia, and other places. Many will recall that towards the end of the 19th century, many migrant workers came to these countries, whether to work on banana plantations or later to work on the Panama Canal. They set up communities, integrated themselves into the society and these nations. But what is very keen is that they held on to their culture. I know, being a Jamaican, many times rather than assimilate to the majority culture around us, even as minorities, we force that culture to assimilate to us. We little, but we talawa. And so I want to send greetings to our family in Limon, a strong Jamaican community dating back to the days of Marcus Garvey, our own first national hero, who himself worked for a time as a timekeeper on a banana plantation in Costa Rica, in places like Limon, in Nicaragua, places like Bluefields, and went on to travel up to Panama and other places where he plied his trade, not only as a journalist, but as a freedom fighter, as a human rights advocate, advocating for the rights of our people who were severely oppressed post-slavery and constantly being used as cheap labor. Nonetheless, through family bonds, through community links, through collective security, we were able to survive and thrive in these communities and make significant contributions on the global stage. Many don't know that even Rastafari, which is a religion that originated out of Jamaica and circumvented the globe, one of the founders, Joseph Nathaniel Hibbert, a Jamaican himself, spent many years in Costa Rica, where he became initiated into the Ethiopian Masonic Order, and from which he came back to Jamaica preaching of the divinity of Haile Selassie I and marshalling the Rastafarian movement as it advanced into the 20th century. There are others, such as Amos Shackelford, who passed through Costa Rica from Jamaica, a Maroon, born in Buff Bay, Portland, and eventually ended up in Nigeria as a repatriate and somebody who contributed to the independence struggle in Nigeria, becoming a wealthy man known as the Bread King. In fact, in Lagos, there is still a hotel named in his honor known as the Wheat Baker. Last but not least, I must mention the UNIA divisions, which began really as a fraternal social order that attracted many migrant West Indian workers in these communities, in Limon, in Colon, in Bluefields, in Belize, in Cuba, and other places, and became sort of a hotbed of portraying our culture, of perpetuating our culture, teaching our language and our customs to successive generations. And Marcus Garvey himself, after becoming the global icon, visited places like Costa Rica and Panama on the Black Star Line tour in 1921, where he was well received. In fact, broke many barriers, becoming the first Black man to ride in first class on a train provided by the United Fruit Company, when the workers in Costa Rica refused to go to work on the day that Garvey was to speak, and welcomed him as a champion of their own culture. The United Fruit Company was forced to accommodate him. So we celebrate these milestones and we recognize the strength of these communities that have gone even as far into the 21st century in producing the first Black female vice president of Latin America in the person of Sister Epsie Campbell Barr, who herself is of Jamaican descent, coming from that lineage of workers who came over. It's been 150 years. We look forward to 150 more, and we look forward to bridging the gap, closing the gap that separates us from our family by many miles. But we are still one in blood, one in faith, one in culture, one in customs. And that's why I can come to Limon and say, Wagwan people, and they know, because they still speak our local dialect, our patois, and I'm always happy to see my brothers and sisters from the diaspora, and particularly from the Central American area, waving the true colors of the black, gold, and green, never forgetting who they are, whether as Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Bajans, or other West Indians, and constantly recognizing their roots and staying true to their identity. Congratulations. We celebrate you. We recognize you, our cousins, our uncles, our aunts, our brothers, our sisters, and we look forward to seeing you soon, to eat some rice and peas, to eat some ackee and saltfish on the streets of Limon. Thank you. One God, one aim, one destiny.